All right, 112, folks. We were talking about Henry VIII, monarch of Great Britain, or pardon me, monarch of England at that particular point, I guess. You know, you can get these specifics down pat. What's important is this, is he's a defender of the Catholic faith. That he is going to marry his dead brother's wife to maintain an alliance with Spain, that he is going to have issues with getting an heir. He is going to end up with a surviving child from Catherine of Aragon, who is, you know, his former brother's wife. That is going to be Mary. Okay, Mary. Well, what he's going to do is petition the Pope to set her aside because he wants a male heir. And of course, everyone knows, you know, that if, you know, the woman isn't producing a boy, it's all her fault. Well, what he wants to do is set her aside, get another wife that will indeed give him a male heir. The Pope is going to say, well, look, we can't do that. I gave you a special dispensation to go ahead and marry your brother's wife. We don't do divorces here, and so it's not going to happen. And so what he does is he does some machinations, and what he will do is this, is he will decide that if the Catholic Church can't give him what he wants, then he will set aside the Catholic Church. He will go ahead and set aside the Catholic Church. He will create the Church of England. He will take all the Catholic Church property in England, give it to the Church of England, create a brand new church based on slight differences. Slight is probably the best way. Develop a slightly new doctrine, and from there establish a church and seek to go ahead and get a divorce. Not going to go into this huge discussion about all the particulars of the church and everything else. Just know that Church of England doesn't do divorce either, so he still can't have his divorce. By the way, if you are going to be king and make your entire religion self-serving, make sure you make the right one. He doesn't get it, so he's going to have to find a different way to set aside the queen. He will set her aside. He will park her in a castle in Scotland and set her aside based on trumped-up charges. But he can't kill her. He can't kill her because that would void his old treaty with Spain along the way. But he will get a new wife, and it's going to be justified based on, you know, what's claimed. He's going to get a series of new wives. He's going to find different ways to try them for treason, try them for sedition, try them for being untrue to him, any number of things until he can find one that will give him a boy. I believe he's got 6 wives eventually. Henry VIII does. He's eventually going to get a boy and another girl. The boy is going to be rather sickly, but his older sister Elizabeth is not going to be sickly. Well, Henry will eventually do everyone a favor and die. Okay? He will, apparently he has a raging case of syphilis. He's going to die. His son will take the throne shortly thereafter. His son will pass away. And what happens is the eldest daughter takes the throne. Well, the eldest daughter, the one with the best claim, is going to be Catherine. No, pardon me, Catherine. It's Mary, pardon me. Mary, and here's the issue. Where Henry took and created the Church of England and created this whole Protestant network of things, Mary is Catholic. Her mother is Catholic. Spain is Catholic. And so Mary is going to take the throne with the support of Spain and try to reestablish the Catholic Church in England. And so that is a huge upheaval. That is a huge upheaval. And so she will go ahead and try to put the Catholic Church back in charge. And what you're going to see is you're going to see a bit of whiplash happen because those supporters that support her are going to be confronted by the Protestants, and the Protestants are going to support her sister Elizabeth. And so what will happen is a struggle, and the struggle is this. We're going to shift back and forth between Catholicism, between the Church of England and the Protestant faith, between Catholicism. You're going to see a struggle depending on who's in charge. There's also going to be a struggle within the church about whether it is the monarch or whether it's going to, eventually be the parliament. that decides who's in charge and which way it's going. Elizabeth is going to end up on the throne. Her sister, at one point, even though she's locked up in a castle in Scotland, is going to attempt to supplant her, to overthrow her. That's going to cost Mary her life. That's going to break the treaty with Spain because she's going to be tried and convicted of treason. She's going to be beheaded. That's going to break the treaty with Spain. Spain will launch the Spanish Armada to go ahead and invade England. And unfortunately for the Spanish Armada, they're going to hit a really bad storm, in addition to hitting the English Navy that, although it is smaller, is more apparently agile and adept. Between the storm, between the Navy, the Spanish Armada is going to go down. England is going to be safe. Protestant, the Church of England, along with Elizabeth, will maintain the throne. Mary will be gone. And we go on to different struggles. This struggle of religion in Europe, this struggle of religion in Britain, is a huge driving force because the monarch doesn't necessarily reflect the will of the people in religion. And so this will be a driving force behind settlement, because the other thing that we're going to see rise up at this particular point is going to be the cultivation of business. We're going to see the introduction of what are called joint stock companies. And joint stock companies are important because prior to this, when it came to saying, hey, listen, what we want to do is we want to send a ship to India to pick up pepper from my poppycock, right? We want to go ahead and send a ship there. Here is amount of money to pay for the ship, to rent to people, to do all this, to buy this. And then when you come back, we'll sell this for millions of pounds. The problem is that if the ship goes down, you lose everything. Unless it's insured, and even if it's insured, you still lose, pretty much all your money at that particular point. One person takes all the risk. What happens is we're going to look, and what we're going to look at is because of Elizabeth, because of the struggles here, we're going to start to look at the expansion of empire. The idea being that, hey, Spain made lots of money, lots of cash, lots of profit. They expanded their influence in the New World. Britain is going to look in the New World now, but to do that, we have to have backing. And to have backing, there has to be business ventures. To be business ventures, people have to have money. So what's going to happen is Britain will start to support the joint stock company. And the joint stock company is simple. Rather than one person fronting all the money and all the risk, what we're going to do instead is we're going to let people buy chunks. Okay, everyone contribute a little bit of money. Everyone's going to take a little bit of risk. When we succeed, everyone makes a little bit of money. On the other hand, if we don't succeed, everyone loses a little bit of money, but it's only a little bit. It's not one person, one risk. This will allow business ventures. Okay, allow business ventures, and that's important. Two of the major joint stock companies we look at this particular point are going to be the Dutch East India Company and the Dutch West India Company. You're also going to start looking at a company that's going to be responsible for introduction of the British into the New World, into North America, and that'll be the Virginia Company, which again is a joint stock company. And so what we're going to look for is we are looking for money, right? We're looking for advance, and to do that we have risk, but also to be able to find this money via the joint stock ventures. This is when we're going to start to explore the New World. So what I want to talk about is I want to talk about a couple of more things, because it is about government, but also about some other transactions because of the joint stock companies.